What's today's date?
12:10. You can keep the pen.
You ready? Time is 6:37 p.m., December 10th. We'll call the Swatara Township Stormwater Authority meeting to order, and we'll start off by the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our secretary is absent, so I will call the roll. Director Tuckey? Here. Director Zubeck?
Here.
Director Conley?
Here.
And Vice Chairwoman Ellis.
Here.
We do have a quorum because the chairman is here as well. The Stormwater Authority did not have an executive session. Is there any visitors' requests or comments? Okay, hearing none from the one visitor, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion.
I got a motion from Director Conley. Is there a second?
Second.
I got a second from Director Ellis. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor give your consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Anyone abstaining? That motion passes. Item 5 is consideration of minutes, November 12th, 2025. Is there a motion to approve? I got a motion from Director Conley. Is there a second?
Second.
I got a second from Director Ellis. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor give your consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Anyone abstaining? That motion passes. We're up to item 6, which is approval of our fiscal year 2026 authority budget. Finance Director Yarzinski, you can go ahead and take the presentation away.
Yep. So this is the 2026 stormwater budget. It has been done through OpenGov, our new budgeting software. This is the format that you will see from now on. However, as I mentioned at some of the other meetings, some cosmetic things will change, but the information, it will remain the same. To start with, the budget summary, which you're used to seeing in on the old format, is the end of month balance and showing the remaining revenues and expenses for 25, the overall budgeted 25 and 26 revenues and expenses, and the end of year balance of 26 being $1,781,698. To start with the revenues, for the Stormwater Authority, their main and pretty much only stream of revenue is from the annual customer payments and those that are quarterly, along with interest, developer fee reimbursements, penalties, and chargeback check bank fees. Those revenues we have budgeted again about the same as last year, so there's no differences. For the expenses, again, there is no significant differences from last year. The only changes from last year's budget is wage expenses, and then slight increases to the rest of the line items. Wage increases are due to contractual obligations. Same thing for the health insurance and other insurances. For our services like IT, legal, accounting, etc., those services are budgeted the same. And sorry, I'm trying to scroll as I speak. It's a little. And there were no large items budgeted for this year either. All of the wishes or requested items are going to be the projects that we're doing that have already been in progress for this year. So there were no other increases. So because there was no increases, there's not much more to say other than that. But if you have any questions, feel free to ask me, and or Kevin is here also.
Directors, you have any comments or questions?
I do have a couple comments and questions. What percentage is healthcare increasing? I didn't.
We did get the final figures in this week, and it is at 14%.
Okay. I'm probably going to be redundant a little bit, but I remember sitting here with the gentleman from the healthcare organization when we were going through looking at healthcare, asking if there was going to be a cap on an increase in premiums, and I believe we were told at the time that it would most likely be like 5%, and now we're getting a 14% increase in healthcare. And I was just wondering, do you have any idea what the cost driver is, or why we're seeing 14% when we were initially told 5%?
I can answer it, Brittany. We had a meeting, you were at the meeting,
Yeah.
you want to refer to that? I was going to do it the next meeting because I think the question will come up.
Well, I'm sure it'll come up at the next meeting, but I
Yeah,
was just
I-
asking Brittany if she could answer,
Okay.
because I know she's worked on it.
Yep, they ran our figures compared to all of the other competitors that offer what we do, which we have to continue offering per the contractual agreement, and this is just what it is across the board.
I just find it a little disingenuous when someone stands up there to our board, and I'm not blaming anybody on this board, and says one thing, and then not even a year later, we're seeing a 14% increase. That's not exactly good business, in my opinion.
They did compare our figures to who our previous broker and other brokers in the area were, and they are the
Irrespective of
same.
a comparison, if you say something, that should be set in stone. So that's my only concern with that. And again, it's not a knock on anyone on this board. We all probably heard the same thing. It is a knock, in my opinion, on the business practices. And I hope that we'll consider that in the future moving forward, whether I'm sitting here or not. I think that when people come and they make a presentation, the presentation should be exactly that when it's on paper.
And I just want to jump in. They had been telling us all along it was going to be 20%, so they actually got it down. I think it is like 14.4.
I don't know
Yeah.
what all along
But-
is. What does that mean?
Like
all
throughout the
along?
year, they don't control healthcare. Healthcare costs were rising, and they were basing their last year's conversation on last year. But we did have them run the PIMIC numbers, and we went back to the same provider. So as much as we're saying that the company didn't come through on what they were hoping to get us, it's a substantial savings
I can
since we
pull,
went with them.
I can pull the video
Okay.
from when it was presented to us.
Sure.
And I'm not arguing with you, Commissioner Connolly. The fact is, we were presented a certain way, and that's not the case. So for you to say that we were being told that throughout the entire year, maybe I wasn't being told that throughout the entire year. You could have told me that their contractual agreement was no longer, what we entered into is no longer the case. But I remember you and I both asking what if there was a cap, and we were told yes. And it's obviously far exceeding that cap that I initially was under the impression it was going to be. So I'm not knocking it. I mean, I'm looking at a budget, and that's obviously what we have to swallow this year, 14%. And it's no secret that healthcare costs are going up. But we need to make sure that when a company stands before us and they say that we can get you this premium and, and this is gonna help you, it's gonna hold the line on increases, and then increases exceed that, I'm just stating a concern, not to argue. I don't want to argue. I think we should all be in agreement on this.
I'm not arguing, but in part, I want to say that when you say you didn't know, we had talked about it, and I believe you
At what
left
meeting?
here in November, on November 12th, with a budget that we voted unanimously to advertise that had a 20% increase.
And the figures were
So-
not in yet. And
No, but-
she
but
just answered
they
that,
were.
said that.
The figures were in at
She just said
20%.
we don't have the figures yet. In November, when I asked the question,
Right.
she said, I don't yet have the figures. So for you to sit up here and
accurate
say,
figures, but
we
we
knew.
put 20% in, and they're lower.
We
So
put
I'm agreeing. The point is, we've saved 5.5% since November 12th by working with this vendor.
Okay, here's the thing.
Yeah.
I said that the vendor told us we were going to have a cap, and we exceeded that cap. Fact or truth? or false? True or false? I mean, it doesn't, I don't really care.
I don't remember, but we're talking about they're a person who goes to bat for us to get the lowest rate. They're dealing with providers, and they're the administrator.
They told us they could get
So
us.
they got the lowest rate
They told us
of any of.
I don't really care.
The
They
six.
told us we weren't going to have over 5%,
Well, I'm just
and
ready
that's
to
what,
hear.
those
The
are the
best
facts.
rate obviously isn't good
Well,
enough.
it was my question anyway. I don't know why you're hijacking me.
Because we're
No,
going,
I'm asking-
we're going with something
He
positive.
said, do you have any questions? Okay, and maybe
I'll let
if you're taking it to heart, then maybe you worked on this and that's your mess. I don't care. I'm just asking questions. My next question was, I had asked for a list of projects that we did the past few years, and I haven't received that. And I would like to know what the timeline is.
A list of stormwater projects? I will get with Kevin and we'll come up with a list.
Okay, I appreciate that. Because it does help to know as far as the amounts that are being spent on how much we're actually spending on projects. And that's all I have. I appreciate the staff and all the hard work they put into this. And my only point on the healthcare is it is a little concerning because healthcare costs continue to increase and we need to continue doing the best we can to rein in spending and follow the healthcare costs and make sure we're getting the best rate that we can possibly get. And that includes anything we can possibly do staff-wise to mitigate increases. So thank you.
Any other directors have any questions or comments?
Yeah, I'll use my comment to say, healthcare costs are going up everywhere, and I appreciate the fact that Strickler met with us and ran the numbers again and took it out, I believe, to 6 different providers rather than one, and came back
Actually, I
with,
think it was 9.
was it 9 total? Well, they took it to 9, but some of them were farther
Right.
out, so they were really looking, but I mean, some of them I don't know that, but the 6 that anyone in our area would have gone with, so I appreciate that part too. And they were able to save us a significant amount of money on one of the biggest expenses that we have, so appreciate that.
Any other directors have any questions or comments?
Yes, please. Yeah, regardless if it's this board or the Board of Commissioners, I would hope that we don't just, when we're looking to save money, that we don't just go with what one of the competitors put out there for information on costs for different plans and policies and stuff. I would hope that we would reach out to quite a few different companies to try to get the best deal always. So, thank you.
Any other directors, questions or comments?
I just want to say thank you to you, Kevin and Brittany, for your work on the stormwater budget.
Only one thing, Brittany, 436, 112.
Okay.
I don't know if we're hitting a mark on that, but that only shows like a 1% change. So just, I mean, if it's something we got to come back next year and adjust, I don't know where that's at as far as the wage increase for stormwater employees. They're trapped in that line item. I think what are they, 2.5% this year, Kevin, I think, or something like that? Yeah, so let's just reevaluate that if that's something we gotta
I will
come back and
double
look
check.
at, or if that was because we had such a savings, because we budgeted for 2, I think we did, or 3, something
We
like that.
did, yeah. And we only had one person full-time in there this year. There was
Okay.
one to start the year,
So that'll reflect
left,
both of them.
yeah.
Okay, all right. And then Kevin, I know you're working on the estimates for Dewey, the stormwater project and stuff. We'll come back next year and add that into here for capital improvement. Other than that, you're looking at a 3% increase. I mean, that's a damn good job by the staff and Brittany and Kevin collectively. So, I mean, that's not a bad budget, 3% increase year over year. Any other questions or comments? Okay. Hearing none, I'll take a motion to approve a fiscal year 2026 authority budget. I
Motion.
got a motion from Director Ellis. Is there a second?
Second.
I got a second from Director Connolly. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor give you consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Anyone abstaining? That motion passes. The approval of rates, fees, and credits is a large document. Obviously, you still have the one from last year. No increase for rates, fees, or credits, so I'll entertain a motion to approve the rates, fees, and credits for 2026. Is there a motion?
Motion.
I got a motion from Director Connolly. Is there a second?
Second.
I got a second from Director Ellis. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor give your consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Is there anyone abstaining? That motion passes. Item 8 on the stormwater agenda is the monthly report. Manager of Utilities, Kevin Trapp.
Thank you, Chairman Steele. I'll quickly go over the November monthly report.
As always, staff is wrapping up a busy 2025 and including the Highland Street pipe relocation project, the Dewey Street widening, and the Donald Taylor Park stream restoration. November activities, staff continues to monitor Spring Creek. HRG continues to do all land development reviews and stormwater inspections. Staff, public works staff, stormwater staff spent the whole month collecting leaves throughout the township. We attended internal meetings on various subdivisions. Staff continues to work with HRG for the Highland Street pipe project. That bid was awarded to R111, and we did just receive the final contractor documents. As soon as we get those all signed, we are planning on scheduling a pre-construction meeting. I'm hoping to get it in by the end of the year, but we'll see how that goes. Dewey Street bank stabilization is still with DEP for permitting, and Dawood is continuing to finalize the design. And HRG is working with us to get all the stuff together for the Donald Taylor Park stream restoration and park revitalization. I'll say that we've had many internal meetings. We've also had many meetings with DEP, PennDOT with some other projects. There's a lot going on there, but we are trying to get those documents finalized as well. So a lot of moving parts. We're hoping to get some of these things wrapped up by the end of the year or early in 26. And that is the end of my report.
Does anyone have any questions for Manager Trapp? Hearing none, moving on to the Treasurer's report. Treasurer Yarzewski.
This is the Stormwater Authority Treasurer's Report for the month ending November 30th, 2025. The operating account had a beginning balance of $102,383.63. We received $84,382.20. We dispersed $143,874.66 with an ending balance of $42,891.17. In our reserves fund, we had a beginning balance of $1,446,606.53. We received $4,822.71. No disbursements with an ending balance of $1,451,429.24. So collectively, the stormwater balance at the end of November was $1,494,320.41.
That wasn't in our packet. You mind sending that out?
Yeah.
Once we get out of this
I
meeting?
apologize.
Appreciate you. No problem. Solicitor, you have any questions for the Treasurer's report? Anyone? Okay. Solicitor Kokorisi?
I don't have a mic, so I'll just take that as a sign to give no report.
Okay.
I'll give you mine.
Is there any visitors' requests or comments? How about any possible stormwater violations to report? Okay. Starting to my left, directors requesting comments. Director Tuckey?
Yep. I'd just like to thank everyone, all staff that's involved with putting everything together for the budget and what you do on a daily basis. Thank you.
Director Zubek?
Oh, yeah, the same. I want to thank staff for the time and effort they put into the budget and everything throughout the year for the Stormwater Authority. And I want to just wish everybody well in the coming year. Thank you.
Director Conlon?
Yeah, I'd like to say, appreciate all the hard work of this board that sits here, all of our staff, all the employees. And we were able to keep the rate at $60, and what we heard tonight, some of the conversations, it's challenging because we save money in one area, but then another expense goes up. So great job again this year. And for the public, we're not necessarily in competition with other communities. We do what we can do, and we try to do it right. I'm very proud of the fact that we have, as far as I know, the lowest stormwater fee. And I will add this, because a lot of times we get beat up on that. We have to have that. It's set by a higher level than us. It comes from the state and the federal government. We'd prefer not to have it. But the one thing we can do is keep it low for our residents, and that's what we've done, and that's in part success by our staff, and also I'm proud to be on the board with the 5 people that are up here. So thank you.
Vice Chairwoman Ellis?
Yes, as always, I appreciate our stormwater staff, and thank you for everything that you do on a regular basis for Swatara Township.
It's going to be our last meeting, but I'm going to call some folks out by name that deserve our appreciation. Brittany Yarzinski, Kevin Trafka, and Julia Yingling. What you did this year to straighten out the parcels in the stormwater account is an outstanding, top quality job. There was a lot of work that needed to be done, and I know that took about 6 months. And I don't think you got the recognition in public because all of it was behind the scenes, the work that you guys had to do to make that happen. You identified some parcels that should have been paying stormwater fees that weren't. And that was a tedious work because you had to go parcel by parcel, right? So I just appreciate you for that. Not only that, the way you held the line on expenses to put us in a great position to do the projects such as Dewey Street, Highland Street, and then, you know, we got $200,000 worth in the budget this year for a capital purchase with a 3% increase year over year. You know, that's a outstanding job. So I just wanted to give you guys kudos in public because some of the things that you do behind the scenes, the public doesn't get to see or hear about, and it deserves recognition in public. So I appreciate you. And because we're closing out this meeting, and it'll be our last meeting before Christmas, everybody have a good Christmas and a good holiday. With that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
I got a motion from Director Conley. I got a second from Director Zubek. All those in favor give consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned, 6:59 p.m.